let us see the microscopic structure of the cornea. This is the cornea. This is the superficial surface, that is the external surface, and this is towards the anterior chamber. This is the anterior chamber and this is the lens. So now with this orientation we can study the layers of the cornea at higher magnification of 10x. This is at 4x. Let us see the picture in the 10x power of the microscope. So if we go on adjusting it, see, we can see the layers of cornea. Now in this picture you will be able to see this is the outer surface where you can see the epithelium. This is the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Then followed by that you can see the basement membrane for it, which is known as the Bowman's membrane or anterior limiting membrane. This is the one on which the cells of the corneal epithelium, that is the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelial cells, will rest. Then the next layer which you are seeing is the corneal stroma or substantia propria, and next to it you will see the another membrane which is known as the Descemet's membrane, which will form the basement membrane for the endothelial layer or the posterior epithelium of the cornea, or also known as the endothelial corneal endothelium. So this is at the 10x magnification, and if we move on to the next magnification of 40x, you can see the details of these layers. See, you are seeing the now you can see the layers, and this is the stratified squamous epithelium. So there are 5 layers in the cornea. One is the stratified squamous epithelium, which you are seeing anteriorly. So this is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. You can see the basal cells are columnar, then the polyhedral cells, surface cells are squamous, and these surface cells, they can contain the microvilli, or also seen with a higher end microscope. So the purpose of which, that is the purpose of microvilli, is to hold the film of tear on the cornea, to keep the cornea moist. That is the function of this microvilli here. Then you can see this is the layer. So this layer is forming the basement membrane for the corneal epithelium, and this is known as the anterior limiting membrane or Bowman's membrane. This is the one which you are seeing, which contains collagen fibrils, will be there in this. Then next is the layer of substantia propria or corneal stroma, which contains type 1 collagen fibers and ground substance will be there, and you can see the nuclei of the fibroblast. This is the thickest layer, and it constitutes nearly 90% of the corneal thickness. So you are seeing the fibroblasts and bundles of collagen fibers, and these cells, the fibroblasts here, they are also known as the keratocytes or corneal corpuscles, and these are roughly star shaped. Then coming to the next layer, that is this is the membrane known as the Descemet's membrane, and this forms the posterior limiting membrane. This is the posterior limiting membrane, and this is the anterior limiting membrane, which is known as Bowman's membrane. And this posterior limiting membrane forms the basement membrane for the corneal endothelium, which is the next layer. This is the 5th layer, that is the corneal endothelium, which contains either the locupoidal cells or simple squamous cells. So this is the layer. So what you have seen is the 5 layers, that is the stratified squamous epithelium, anterior limiting membrane or Bowman's membrane, corneal stroma or substantia, propria, this is the one, and the Descemet's membrane, this is the posterior limiting membrane or Descemet's membrane, and the corneal endothelium. So this corneal endothelium forms the anterior boundary for the anterior chamber. This is the anterior chamber.